So I started MindGear Labs back in November of 2012. So we've been operating for about 3 years now. The idea comes from Neil Gershenfeld at MIT. His research goal was to recreate the Star Trek replicator. So he's gotten a lot of research money from the National Science Foundation and whatnot. Some of that money required him to recontribute it back to educational efforts. And he actually teaches a class based on this small set of equipment. Unfortunately, you can't just walk up to it and say tea Earl Grey hot and have something pop out at you, but you can make almost anything. And so, I got exposed to this when I was up at headquarters in DC for my day job, and really just said, hey, Huntsell's got to have one of these, and came home and created it. So, to give you an idea of the equipment that we have at MindGear, we have several CNC milling machines, CNC standing for computer numerically controlled. So, with everything that we have here, you draw something on the screen, you send it to a machine, and the machine prints it or cuts it out for you. So this machine is good for working with glass, plastics, wood, soft metals, so on and so forth. We have several 3D printers like the Affinia right here. We have 2 laser cutters, which are by far our most popular machine, and we knock a lot of stuff out. Vinyl cutters, desktop mills, we have an electronics workbench. We actually have a sewing and embroidery machine, and we do some casting and molding as well. So you can imagine that we can work in all sorts of different materials, and we can do all sorts of different sorts of designs and whatnot. Now, why did I do this? I work on base during the day, and I do research into nuclear propulsion concepts. I'm actually turning into more of an experimentalist right now, but by the time I started the Fab Lab, everything I'd done was either theoretical or computational, so I drove a pencil all day. And I never got to build anything. In fact, a lot of my friends joke and call me a theoretical engineer. So being able to build anything I wanted was very compelling. And so when I saw this up in DC, I said, well, okay, I'm going to create this, and then I'll drive my pencil during the day, and in the evenings I'll have this great big wonderful workshop that I'll throw open to the public, and other people will come in and buy memberships, and once I get things nice and rolling, I'll have this creative outlet for me to sit there and play with the toys and do things as well. Well, anyone who started a business knows that things don't work out quite the way you expect it to. So after about a year of us just not getting the membership that we wanted, we pivoted. And so that's really what the theme of my presentation is pivoting, because I've had to do it a lot. So after a year, we had calculated that we needed at least 100 members to make a go of it. And after a year of concentrated effort, we got to about 45 to 50. And I said, all right, well, we've got to start looking at other things. Now, fortunately, when I'd written my original business plan, my secondary goal was to teach classes to kids using the equipment and whatnot. And so the equipment allows us to make all sorts of cool educational aids, and then we can motivate kids to do STEM-related work. And since everything that we do is fairly computer intensive, someone who's a neophyte can come in and learn how to run the laser cutter, in a course of 3 hours. But since we are computer intensive, I had a lot of people who were also good programmers as well, and so we kind of expanded into programming and robotics as well as all our manufacturing capabilities. So that was our first pivot, is to going into education. And so we've been doing that for almost 3 years now, and we've done just great things. These are giant Jenga blocks that were a huge hit with the kids when we did it for Panoply a couple years ago. Here's just some of the projects that the kids came in and made. This is over a week's summer camp. They come in knowing nothing, and they walk out having created one of these things themselves, and all my techs are doing is just helping them along. It's a great confidence builder for the kids. This is one of my favorites right here, the Mario lamp. So, and then we're also producing products ourselves. We've developed a good bit of IP in our project. And so one of the things that we've done is we've actually developed worlds in Minecraft that educate people on ancient Egypt or medieval London, or this shot right here is Crap de Chevier. It's a Crusades fort, if you will, that's dimensionally accurate, as accurate as we can make it in Minecraft and whatnot. And so one of the things I was doing is I put a call out and I said, hey, if you're 14 or older and you know Minecraft, I will hire you to help build these things. And you can imagine it's like throwing chum in the water. And so, oh my gosh, if I had a nickel for every mom that said, look, just pay my 12-year-old under the table, and I was like, no, Alabama law's 14 and you're not worth my business. But these six right here call themselves the miners. These six spent an entire summer building those worlds under the tutelage of my wife, who basically got them all the information. And then lately, we've created a lot of different worlds. Our newest and latest world is one where they get to actually fight one another. A lot of the kids want to do that, player versus player. But I don't want to do anything unless it's educational. And so what we did is we set up what's called the ELO system. It's the same basic system that's used for college football rankings, college basketball, chess, so on and so forth. And so we actually teach them the statistics of how that works, and then they play one another. And the whole point in there is to get them less, you're going to have the kids who are just trying to hit the highest score and whatnot. But for most of them, they're sitting there and they're playing one another and they're exploring how the system works, and they're learning the statistics and whatnot, which is really cool. Except for the one kid who actually wins the game and sees his points go down because he didn't beat the guy bad enough. But most of the kids were just loving it. So we're actually offering, that's one of our camps we're offering right now. We've done a lot with this community outreach called Santa's Lab, where we're creating toys and whatnot. And so we've actually, built custom toys for disadvantaged kids in the community. We did 70 toys in 2013, 150 in 2014, and we did 100 here just this last year. And that's 100 toys right there, and some goober in the middle here. That's our Santa suit. That's steampunk Santa, so has goggles and whatnot. So we've done a lot with kids, and that has made money, but the volume isn't what I would want it to be. It's getting to be pretty stable, and so now we're starting to pivot again into a second subject. A friend of mine, Randy Cruz, told me when he started his business that he was very focused on what he was doing right here, and people kept walking in and asking him to do this. And he stayed focused on it the next month, and the next month, and the next month, and after about 6 months he went, oh hell. And he turned around and started working on this. So in the 3 years that I've been working, running MindGear, people keep walking in, they don't want to buy a membership, they don't have kids, they want me to build something for them. Oh yeah, sure, I'll do that for you. Go ahead. Give me specs, so on and so forth. After a while, I started looking at my sheet and I'm going, wow, I'm doing a lot of business. And then people just walking in the door asking for this. So now I'm pivoting again. And we're keeping our education. We're not doing anything with membership right now. But now we're going to start working a lot with custom products. People walking in and saying, I need a custom solution for a problem I'm having. And we do this in a lot of different areas. So business to business, we're able to make trophies and signs and little name tags and whatnot. And then we just launched sort of a bridal version. The brides really want to have a decked out wedding and whatnot. So we can do a lot of cake toppers and engraved invitations and make signs and big huge arches and so on, bridal signs, so on and so forth. And so we're also doing something that's really interesting. This is a closed Facebook group. I don't know if you guys have heard, this is a business model that's really picking up steam. By doing a closed Facebook group, people come onto the group, they are automatically going to see your messages and whatnot. And so we just offer a daily deal and a daily decor. It works well for me because I can do a batch run, which is cheaper than me having to do one-offs, like if I was selling on eBay or Etsy or something like that. And so I can, offer these products at a cheaper price, and people have a day to buy whatever we're offering. So you can see some of the cute things that we've come up with here. And then more prototype products. What's that? Oh, 1 minute, okay. We're doing a lot of exhibits. There is something called the Escape Pod that's coming in. It's an escape room. And so these are shots that haven't been set up yet for the entire room, but it's an Alice in Wonderland room. I wish I'd put the caterpillar in there. We actually have an animatronic caterpillar. One of my members, we do a lot of electronic projects, so most of these are prototype inventions, so I can't really show off their proprietary info, but I can kind of show this off because it was built in the lab there. It's a lot cooler in person because you can, it's really bright, it tamps out everything else, but that's a Tesla gun. Some big models of chess pieces. We've built arcades. This is really funny. This is something else that we built for the escape pod. Not for the Alice in Wonderland room, but for one of the other rooms. This is all electronically controlled, but this is during one of the prototypes. We had to build a mock-up of an aquarium with a hand behind it, cast hand. So the point of that is that the hand looks like it's in water, but it's not. The tank is only 6 inches deep, and then the hand sits behind it. And so when the people in the room figure out the puzzle, the door swings open and the aquarium drains, and they reach into the hole and get the disembodied hand. That's going to allow them to get past the last door and whatnot. But of course, we couldn't keep the hand really in water, and no, it's not a real hand. So. Theremin Cabinet, this is an educational thing that we created for the kids at Huntsville Middle. They actually play the theremin, which is you wave your hands in front of these antennae and it makes Star Trek-like music. It used to be very popular in the 50s. But they actually see the waveforms that they're creating on the display screen in the back, and so not only they're learning music theory, but electromagnetic theory as well. The full-scale Falcon was developed in the lab, so it kind of shows a level of detail and capabilities in electronics. A lot of this was built before they came to the lab, but they ended up refurbing the whole thing and building a new one with our equipment. And so it was actually signed by one of the Mythbusters and Tim Zahn, and you can see it was pretty popular. So these are the sorts of areas that we're doing in the job shop. Product development, lots of inventions going on. Batch productions, events, bridal and custom furniture. We do a lot of software development, so we've got several educational video games that are going to go out on the App Store, and we'd be glad to work with you on yours. A lot of these inventions require an app to go with the invention as well. And then building exhibits. We have one finishing up over at SciQuest, and we're hopeful that we'll get some at some of the other local museums. So, and that's it.